And welcome, everyone. I'm Bill Newell with MSO News Sports, and we are joined by the sports writers here, Phil Stacy, Matt Williams, Nick Giannino of the Salem News. Phil there giving you the big wave, and Nick Kukuru from the Gloucester Times. So here we are talking North Shore sports. Clearly, tournaments just ahead this week, as with hockey and basketball all opening up. The pairings are out, and we'll get to that. But first, some breaking news in the last few hours or so. As we record, Hamilton Wenham has a new head football coach, replacing Jim Pugh, who stepped down at the end of the season. Matt Williams, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, they went with Tim Fryermuth from Pentucket, a young guy, very young guy, graduated from high school in 2013. And so what's that make him, 27, 28? So pretty young.
I played basketball with him in high school. Just want
Oh,
to
there you
throw that
go.
out there.
Obviously,
his brother Pat plays for the Steelers in the NFL, and Tim is a great football guy, great football mind. I know he played in college at Springfield, I believe. He was a lineman, big boy. But yeah, continue, Matt. That's cool. I'm just hearing this for the first time, so I know Tim.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I got to follow me on Twitter, Nick. You know, that's clutch. But no, I mean, so you know, again, like Nick said, Springfield College lineman, and I think that, you know, there's a culture there at Springfield that churns out these linemen that are very strength and conditioning oriented, very process oriented, very well spoken, very good at belief and getting people to believe in the systems and all that kind of stuff. And I think, you know, Dan Connors from Essex Tech is off that tree. I think they've done a great job. And from
Kevin
what I understand,
off that tree.
Yeah. So from what I understand, well, Kevin, I guess, wasn't a lineman there, right? So I don't think.
No, but he's got the Springfield connection and the, you know, the background and, you know, weight training, working out, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, there's been a lot of coaches that have come out of Springfield. And so that's definitely a good thing. You know, he kicked around college for a little while and has been coaching at Pentucket. So I think from an off-season train, I mean, he's a certified Olympic strength and conditioning coach. So I think from an off-season program standpoint, a buy-in standpoint, I mean, it's a great thing for Hamilton Wenham. I mean, I know that you know, Coach Pugh and Coach Hayden were always very close, and you know, obviously Coach Pugh had no part in choosing the new coach, right? But I'm sure that to keep it in the Cal family, to someone that played in the Cal and played for a very good friend of his and Steve Hayden, I'm sure that warms his heart a little bit too. So interesting hire, you know, in terms of the age, the experience level, and that kind of stuff, but definitely you know, someone that has a vision and feels like he knows how to you know, get everybody on the same page, get a lot of buy-in. And you know, I know that that's something that Coach Pugh was really big on too, right? Was the off-season program. So I think that Tim's really going to be able to build on that foundation for sure.
I wonder if he'll be retaining any of Jimmy's coaches, Willie. I mean, you know, you would think a new coach would want to bring in his own staff of guys and whatnot, but Jimmy had some great assistants, and I didn't know if any of them would be sticking around or being asked to stick around. You know, just curious if you heard anything about that.
I have not. I mean, you know, obviously I Nick maybe would know more from the Pentucket standpoint, or maybe somebody from up that way. I mean, I know, you know, because Pentucket has really changed its offense in the past few years. They've become a spread team, kind of, you know, not that traditional double wing or at least a multiple look team. So I wonder if Tim has any pull in that direction, or, you know, had been calling plays, hadn't been calling plays. So I'm not sure if he's going to be a guy that's looking to hire a play caller, you know, that's a CEO coach, or if he calls plays or what exactly the story's going to be there. I mean, but you're right. I mean, Hamilton Wenham definitely had a great staff and, you know, guys that are involved in the building and stuff that may or may not be sticking around. I mean, you know, I know, you know, some of them may be retiring with Jimmy. Some of them may be looking to keep their coaching careers going. I mean, you know, they had one guy on the staff that was very young that'll definitely still be coaching someplace, but a couple of guys that were closer to Jimmy's age that might be you know, looking to head down to Florida and put the feet up or something like that. So I think all that remains to be seen, but you know, definitely from what I've heard of Tim and some of our mutual friends and whatnot, very, very high energy guy. that's going to do really well, as far as the buy-in, the belief, things like that. I guess already, when he met some of the players, they asked if are you related to that Steelers guy? He was on my fantasy team. He helped me out at the end of the year. So, so there's going to be a lot of that going around too, I think.
Well, if our experience with those Pentucket grads is anything, I think it bodes very well for Hamilton Wenham, right?
That's right,
Nick
Bill.
Giannino. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. That your words, Bill, not ours, but
Jury's still out from our end, but perception.
It's too early.
is what it
It's
is.
too early to tell. Right. I get
Yeah.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll wait. And
He got me a
Hamilton
good.
Wenham.
He got me a good Christmas gift this year. So actually, the last few years, you got me a good Christmas gift. So at least for that, I can throw you. I'll keep from throwing shade on you at that point.
Not
Thank you.
bad. That works. All right, let's begin with basketball. So we can pull up some of the pairings. Nick Giannino is the boys basketball guy at the Salem News. The rest of you can chime in whenever you want. But Nick, I'll pop up the D1 pairings, if you will, if you want to take it from there and begin with some basketball talk here.
Sure thing. Well, we got 3 teams in Division One. Obviously, starting with Beverly there in that number 8 spot. I know we talked last week thinking maybe they might fall a couple spots after, losing 2 games in their final 3. But they held on to that 8 spot. They earned the bye. They're going to have a home game this Friday. It looks like it's going to be between Framingham and Haverhill.
Yeah.
So 2 very, winnable games there to advance to that second round, which most likely will be against Central Catholic. Obviously, a very good team, the number 9 seed. So they'll have their hands full. I think, I'm not going to say they're going to cruise in that first game at home, but that's a game they should win, regardless of if it's Framingham or Haverhill. And then we'll see what happens against Central Catholic. Again, they'll probably get another another home game in that one, seeing as they have the 8 seed and Central Catholic the 9. So decent draw for Beverly. You like to see them hang on to that 8 spot, like I said, with a 20-2 record, and they've had a great season. We'll see if they can keep it going. And then moving down the list, we got St. John's Prep locked up number 18. I think they finished 11-9, so 2 games over 500 for them. And yep, they're on the other side of the draw. Obviously, with that strength of schedule, they were able to hold on to a top 20 seed there. And don't know too much about Westford Academy, but they usually have pretty good hoop teams. So, that's definitely not a gimme, and they got to go on the road in that one. When's that one? Thursday, guys? Thursday?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday at 6:30 on the road. So, that's a team that can certainly play with the top teams in the bracket. Just depends which version of St. John's Prep you get. We talked about their 2 big guys, Mike O'Brien and Kyle Webster, kind of run their offense through them. And we'll see what kind of noise they can make. And then the other team we got is Peabody.
Yep.
One on the road with a 13-7 record. The rankings weren't too kind to them. They're going to have that preliminary matchup against Cambridge, Ringe and Latin on the road again on Tuesday.
That doesn't look like a bad matchup for them, though, Nick, to be honest with you.
No, it doesn't seem like a bad matchup at all. Cambridge has had some really strong teams in the past, but they're definitely a little bit down this year.
Yeah, and Willie and I were talking. We were saying that, Peabody has played a lot better, I feel like, over the second half of the year. They gave Beverly 2 really tough games. I mean, they didn't have a great non-league schedule, and I think that was certainly worked against them. But in conference, they played some of the better teams actually pretty tough. Beverly, Salem, teams like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they had a shot to beat Salem and spoil, Tom Doyle's 300th win there. That came down to the wire. Beverly game, Willie saw him come down to the final shot in that one. And then the second time around, they played him pretty close too. So, that's a team that can definitely surprise some people. And you got the sophomore there, Anthony Forte. I don't know if he goes by AJ, right, Willie? Anthony Forte. But he's been playing some really good hoop for them coming along on the offensive side of things. So they're an exciting team. And again, I think that's a decent matchup for them in the first round. Thad was telling me, Thad Broughton, the head coach, they had, 6 or 7 games where they lost by 1 possession or less. So,
wow,
they, pretty much all of their losses were in very close fashion. And, playing those tight games like that, that could come in handy come tournament time.
Popping up D2 here for you.
Yeah, D2, we got Salem. Would they lock up number 10, if I'm remembering correctly here?
You got it.
Yep.
Number 10, unfortunately, one of their wins was discounted because the team they played down in Florida was not affiliated with a, MIAA equivalent. So they did knock one win off their record for the MIA, but I don't think it hurt their rating. I don't think they would have been much higher than 10. And Bill, help me out here where they are on the bracket.
Hold on here. I'm sorry. Yeah, there they are,
right.
over on the right-hand side.
Yeah, so they got a bye, obviously. They'll have a home game. Don't know much about Medfield or Somerset Berkeley. Obviously, Medfield's, have some good athletic programs. So that could be a test for them for sure, but it's nice that they get a home game. That's certainly going to help. And, they usually draw a pretty good crowd in Salem, and, the fans are into it, which certainly helps. And they've been playing great basketball. I mean, like I said, 17 wins, 16 for this purposes, only 3 losses. They played Beverly tight, and they've been peaking at the right time, I think. So that's a team that could definitely make some noise.
I think they're really good. I think they've been flying under the radar a little bit, and that there's really some good things ahead for them, I hope.
Not a lot of height, but they got a lot of shooters. They got a lot of guys that can handle the ball. They play good defense. They play together. They really move the ball well. So if the shots are falling, they can beat pretty much anyone in this bracket.
If they win and Norwood wins, then Salem will go on the road though. So that so they got the one home game. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
How fast these tournaments go. Teams that get relatively high seeds are on the road just in that second round. I mean, it's amazing. After just one round, we're down to 16 teams in the whole state. I mean, that takes some getting used to. Back in the day, you got 4 sectionals, right? So to get 16 teams, you're talking the North semifinals. It's like, it doesn't feel like if you win one tournament game, you're in the equivalent. I'm still getting used to this.
Yeah.
You got Marblehead in a prelim, Nick, over on the left-hand back side over there against Newburyport.
Yep, and that's another team that's been, peaking at the right time. 4 straight wins to end the year. Nice sort of rivalry, North Shore matchup there against Newburyport. Obviously, Newburyport had a solid year, but their strength of schedule certainly hurt them too. And same was the case for Marblehead. So that should be an exciting one on Tuesday at Marblehead. I think, Phil, you're planning on going to that one.
I am. I think this is my in fact, I know it's my basketball debut this year. Better late than never.
There you go. So
going over. I hope all my buddies on the Hennis hockey team are there in attendance, and I can see some of the boys while I'm watching the gentlemen on the hard court, and looking forward to seeing Coach Giardi and his crew see what they can do against the Clipper ship.
Well, they've been playing a lot better. Go ahead, Bill.
No, I'm sorry. With Phil there, it's going to be a big game.
No, I'm just, yeah, absolutely. Again, I don't know a ton about Newburyport, but Dave Clay does a great job with that program, and they've had some really good teams in recent years. I'm surprised to see them that low, but, again, with the Cal. And I just think Marblehead's really picked it up on the defensive end. They've been, clamping down on that side, which has led to their offense, and they got a number of guys that can handle the ball for them, a couple shooters, a big guy.
Does it kind of revolve around Countryman, would you say?
Yeah, Countryman has been playing some really, really good basketball for them. He's a guy that's been leading them in scoring in recent games, but they do have other guys that can do that too. So he could be a distributor as well. He's really good at getting into the lane and making the right decision. I really like the way Tyrone's been playing, and they get some guys off the bench that have really contributed. So I think Marblehead's, got a pretty good draw there. We also had Masco there, Bill.
I know Masco's there. I was trying to, I'm kind of watching the clock. We got a lot to cover, Phil, Nick. So I was wondering if I'm just going to pop up 3, but feel free to follow up with Masco. I'm sorry.
Well, just quickly with Masco, they're healthy now, and Matt Richardson, their kind of go-to guy there, obviously the quarterback of the football team. He's probably their best all-around player, both sides of the ball. And with him back healthy, if he hadn't missed some action, they might have had a better record and a better seed there, but they get in nonetheless. And, that's a team that can scare some people for sure. They play good team basketball.
Right now, we're looking at D3, where you have St. Mary's number 1, Swampscott 5, Fenwick 10, some of the higher rated North Shore teams, Gloucester 22 going into this tournament. So maybe, Nick, you want to pick us up there, and obviously we can have the other Nick Kukuru chime in on the fishermen as they get into the tournament. So.
Yeah, obviously lead with Swampscott there. They're entering with a 14-game win streak. So, there's not many teams in the Division III bracket that are hotter than them, outside of St. Mary's at the top there. And obviously Watertown's a perennial power. They're always kind of in the mix. But yeah, Swampscott, they're going to have a bye. They'll get to host the second round game against two lower seeds there in Pittsfield and Southeastern. Again, I don't know a ton about either one of those teams, but the way Swampscott's playing, I think they're, going to match up pretty well with anyone they get. And yeah. And then we got Fenwick at 10-10, grabbed the 10 seed. So you see that strength of schedule come into play again there. They had some tough losses towards the end of the year, but did finish on a strong note with a 20-point win. So anything could happen with that team. I think they go as their top three guys go. Jason Romans, Mike Yenton, and Shea Hanks. They kind of run the show for that team. And Coach Moran doesn't make a ton of subs. They're not super deep, but if they can get on a team early and build a good lead and hold on down the stretch, that's been kind of their problem of late is, blowing leads and kind of, I don't want to say falling apart towards the end, but giving the other team a chance to capitalize on some of their mistakes. So if they can play clean basketball, they're going to be just fine.
Phil, do you know much about Belchertown or Quabbin? What can you share with us?
I'm really more focused on teams out in the Lee and Turners Fall area.
Yeah.
I can't say that around that UMass corridor. I'm more, Stockbridge, that area. I go way out to Western Mass.
Sorry about that. I know we're in North Adams territory out there, so let's just drop it. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I will say, I believe Swampscott played Belchertown.
Yes. Yeah.
During the regular season, and they beat them. That was one of their 14 straight wins heading down the stretch. So if that's any indication, then Fenwick's definitely capable of playing with a team like that.
I do know that Belchertown is the Orioles, and they have a pretty cool logo. That I do know.
Nick Kukuru, Gloucester playing host to Auburn in an opening round game Tuesday night.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one. I can't say I know much of anything about Auburn, but Gloucester's the number 22 seed. They only finished 7-13, but they got in on that strength of schedule. They played Salem tough one of the two times they played them. They played Marblehead tight twice. Masco they lost to twice, but they also played them tight. So they got some good looking losses on that schedule to get them into the top 32. But I honestly think they're a fairly interesting team because as up and down as they have been, as sloppy as they can be at times, they do have a high ceiling with veteran players. Zach Oliver and Byron Thomas are both very good. And, when they face a team that matches up well with them, they can give good teams a scare. As we've seen, they beat Bishop Fenwick last week to end the regular season. That probably got them in. They might have been out if they didn't win that one. That bumped them up about 6-7 spots in the standings. So, we'll see. They've also been good at home. I think they're 7-3 at home. They're 2-8 on the road. So, looking like they should be the favorite on Tuesday. And then Archbishop Williams, I'm assuming they're very good.
How did the Oliver boys end up playing basketball, Nick? Their grandfather in his 60s, still playing hockey, works at Talbot, does the Zamboni. How did they end up as him and his brother Ben end up on the hard court?
And I say their mother's family is the hockey family, but their dad is the basketball guy, Mike Oliver. He's a very good basketball player in his day. So that's kind of their game. I know it's funny because the other side of their family is all hockey all the time.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't realize it was that split.
And
you got
just
North.
Quickly,
Go ahead, Nick. Yeah.
Just quickly back to Fenwick, having that home game is huge for them because that's another team that plays well at home, and that's a small gym, gets pretty loud, and there's not a lot of room to operate, which can throw some teams off. So that's a huge advantage for them.
And again, we can't touch on everything here because of time. I'm going to have Phil make a time call here for us in a second here. But St. Mary's the number 1 seed, as we mentioned. Essex Tech also in this D3 tournament.
Yep.
And
so they won they won their conference tournament, Essex Tech. Not conference tournament, the regular season title.
Nice.
So congratulations to them. That's the first time in quite a while that they've done that.
And Joe Casey's North Reading team getting a bye over on the right side here and hosting a game in the second round against either Greater New Bedford or Massachusetts. All right. Phil, I'm looking at the time here. We've gone through well past halfway mark here, and we haven't touched hockey yet at all. Should we jump to hockey? Do you think you want to touch on that?
Why don't we just touch on the girls' basketball quickly first, so we're not leaving anybody out in terms
Okay.
of basketball. I mean, and Willie can touch on this with me as well. I would say that Fenwick girls and Peabody in Division One. Peabody in Division One, and the Fenwick girls in Division 3 are probably two of our stronger programs heading into the state tournament. Maybe even Fenwick, particularly so.
Girls 1 is up here right now.
Yeah. If you want to look at one, I mean, Peabody was probably hurt by strength of schedule. They went 17-3. They were undefeated in the Northeastern Conference, but tumbled in 3 out of conference games. So crazy part of this, power seeding. They win 17 games in the 28th seed. They go on the road. They have to play a preliminary round game. So they'll host Lynn Classical on Tuesday night and look to get off with a win in the tournament. But then you go and you got to face number 5 Bishop Fien on the road if you win. So tough task for the Tanners, but one game at a time for them.
Yeah. I mean, they played, so Fenwick split with Fien, and Peabody did play Fenwick tough for a half. So, I mean, hopefully they can use that experience, whatever adjustments Fenwick made in the second half that they didn't make, and learn from that. And I mean, if they play the way they did in the first half against Fenwick, against Fien, that's a winnable game. I mean, it should be close anyway. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to win, but they shouldn't get blown off the court anyway.
And Classical, I want to say, is 16-4. So it's not a pushover. I don't think the GBL is any great shakes this year, but
that's ludicrous. To have 33 wins combined of a team in a preliminary round, that's wrong. I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and be grateful there's a tournament. That's messed up. 33 combined wins for a prelim game. Something's wrong there.
Yeah, I agree.
This is I'm popping 2 up here. This is girls 2, FYI.
Marblehead and Masco, 2 locals taking on one another. That should be intriguing. I know Masco's got a dearth of height, and Marblehead does have some height, so that could be an interesting matchup. Masco definitely a better team. I think beat him in the regular season, but it is the shorter side, so you never know.
Tuesday night at Masco, yeah.
Yep.
All right, Phil. So we've really down to 10 minutes or less here. So I want you to
let's move over to the ice.
Okay. Let me lace up here for a second and then we'll go. Go ahead. Yeah.
Get your super tax ready. All right.
Yeah. I had them we had them whatever. Never mind. So
all right.
So
between the boys and the girls, we have a dozen teams. Nick has 2 more. Kooks, do you want to start real quick with your 2 teams?
Sure. Yeah, I can go through it real quick. Over in Division 2, Gloucester got the number 2 seed. They're playing number 31 Haverhill on Thursday. I mean, that they shouldn't have much trouble with them, but I think they got a really, really interesting potential second round matchup on the docket, a 4th meeting with Marblehead. And I mean, if you're a number 2 seed, I want nothing to do with playing a conference rival for 4th time. I know this
is Phil, Nick. These are the brackets right here we're looking at here. Gloucester. Okay,
so
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Get Whitman Hanson first. I know that's probably a 15-18 is probably a pretty evenly matched game. But I mean, Gloucester's beaten Marblehead 3 times, but they've gotten more competitive with each one, including the last one. Marblehead should have tied the score in the 3rd period. Gloucester ended up winning 7-3, but Marblehead actually scored the tying goal, and the refs didn't see it. So you change, 4-3 game to a 4-4 game with 7 minutes to go. Maybe Gloucester doesn't take control after that moment. So I mean, that's a really, really scary matchup for the Fishermen for the second round. I think just Marblehead's just too tough and too well coached to be a pushover playing them for a 4th time in the season.
Well, that's what it is. They're very well coached. They are deep. I mean, they can run 3 lines. They have. I mean, they don't have scoring like Marshall and Costanza, but like Connor Jalbert has 37 points. They have a couple of guys in the 20s with Aiden Ryan, Hayden Leveroni, Eli Feingold, and they've got some good scoring defensemen too, and guys like Hogan Setke and Aiden Jalbert. The goaltending has to be on for Marblehead to have a chance. I think you're right. That's no given that they're going to beat Whitman Hanson. They don't even have a date yet. I talked to Chris Wells, the Marblehead coach, before we came on today's podcast, and they're still waiting to hear from Salem State when they're going to get that game in. My guess might be Friday at this point, but I don't know. Where Salem State is still playing men's hockey, they're still in the MASCAC playoffs, so Marblehead has to kind of wait around their practices and all. But if Marblehead does play Gloucester a fourth time, I mean, Marblehead would really have nothing to lose, I think, at that point. Be interesting to see.
Yeah, all the pressure on Gloucester in that one, in that potential matchup. I was going to Rockport, and Rockport got in Division 4 as the number 28 seed, and unfortunately, they got a really, really tough draw. They're going to be going to Winthrop on Saturday, and as we've seen, Winthrop's beaten Gloucester and Masco in their own building. They're really, really good on that smaller ice surface. They can pack in the neutral zone, and I know they held Gloucester to a season-low goal scoring total in Larson Arena, and Masco, they beat them handily in Larson Arena. So that's going to be a really tough ask for Rockport as the 28th seed to go up to Winthrop. But give them a ton of credit too. Kyle Nelson does a very good job with that team. They don't really have any superstar talent, but they spread the wealth, and they're scrappy and they get it done.
All right, so just going over the boys quick, so we can also make even time for the girls hockey here. St. John's Prep number 1, no shock there. They've been number 1 in the state for more than a month now. They're going to play the winner of Weymouth and King Philip. That preliminary game is Monday night. As we record this, they'll know their opponent by the time you hear this podcast. They should breeze in the first round. It does get tougher from there, though. Once they get into that round of 16, you might be looking at a Central Catholic, and in the round after that, you could be looking at a Pope Francis, and then you could be looking at a Hingham if they keep winging. So there's no clear-cut favorite in Division 1. I mean, I know St. John's Prep is the number 1 seed, but they have 3 losses. They're 17-3. Go figure. They're number 1 in the state, and Peabody is 17-3 for the girls basketball, and they're ranked 28th. Just quite a dichotomy in the two sports here. But Prep should win their opener on Thursday night, and they go from there. Division 2, we touched on a little bit with Marblehead and Gloucester. Masconomics, the number 4 seed. They're going to take on Hopkinton, who's number 29. Again, I would expect a Masco win. After hitting rock bottom in that 2 loss at Winthrop that Nick alluded to a week and a half ago, they came back with a strong 2-2 tie against Andover. I thought one of the best games of the season, losing to St. John's Prep 4-3. Came back from down 2-0 and 3-2 in that game to tie it up twice. I thought it bode well for how they're going to play in the playoffs. If they can hang with St. John's Prep, they can certainly play with anybody in Division 2. So that's good for them. Beverly's going to hit the road to face Silver Lake at Pembroke Saturday afternoon. I mean, Beverly's been so Jekyll and Hyde. They haven't really put together a full, consistent effort for 45 minutes. If they could do that, they could come home with an upset win. If they don't, it's going to be one and done for them. Division 3, Danvers is at home on Friday against Southeastern. I like the way the bracket sets up for Danvers, number 8. It's a good-looking bracket for them. They don't have a ton of offensive skill, but they play very well defensively, team defense. They get good goaltending from the freshman Braden Holt, and they stick to their systems. Essex Tech had an upset loss the last week of the regular season, so they had number 17, which is crazy. They have 15 wins, but they got to go on the road and play at Bedford. I would not be surprised to see them come back with a win. They also have excellent goaltending. They got a lot of scoring up front, led by David Egan and his 40 points. So we hope that they can bring home a win. And lastly, in Division 4, Hamilton Wenham, which has won its last 5 in a row, is going to play at Hull. Time TBA. I think it'll be Saturday. I just don't know when. Hull's won 7 of 8, so that should be a pretty good matchup, 15-18. Hamilton Wenham's been playing really well with Luke Graham returning to the fold in goal. They get a lot of balance scoring, some really good defense led by Zach Wallace. So, again, the Generals could be a lower seed that comes home with a first-round win.
All right. Girls hockey, is that what we're
Good
doing?
enough?
Okay.
All right.
Good.
I know. Nice job. All right. Here's D1 girls hockey, Matt Williams.
Yeah, I mean, I got my eyes on that lower left-hand quadrant there. You got, St. Mary's Lynn at number 4 and Fenwick at number 13. So they're on a little bit of a collision course there for that round of 16. If they can both take care of business in the first round. Of course, on Valentine's Day, they battled to a 2-2 tie. So that has the potential to be a really good, really interesting second round matchup there. So definitely this time next week, we could be having a little bit more detailed preview. Fenwick, had an overtime loss to end the regular season, 1-0, got a little snake bit offensively, but they've been riding the freshman goalie Ella Tucker from Essex Tech. She's been playing really well, hasn't allowed much of anything in the last 4 or 5 games in a row to end the season. They go into the tournament winners of, I think, 5 of their last 6 or something along those lines. Ever since they lost to Austin Prep, they haven't given up much of anything besides that overtime loss. So Fenwick's feeling good about themselves going into the tournament. Over on the right hand side, we got Beverly at number 30. They're 9-9-2. It's their first playoff appearance since 2017, so they're happy to be there. ND Hingham, that's an interesting team. They're 10-5-4. So I mean, they've only won half their games in regulation, right? So if you're Beverly, you feel pretty good about that. Now they got the tough schedule, good league, all that business. It's a pretty good hockey team, right? But it's not like they're going in to face a team that's 20-0 or something like this. They got a long trip ahead of them to Rockland there Thursday night. So Panthers got a lot of offense, and they played their best defensive game of the year in their regular season finale against unbeaten Winthrop team. They lost 1-0, killed off a couple of 5-on-3s. So if they play that way defensively, they've got a chance to set up that upset. And then in the top right hand side there, we got Marblehead. They're in at 31. Their first playoff appearance since 2018. They haven't won a playoff game since 2009, and they'll have their hands full with Arlington. I mean, the Five Ponders are 18-1-1. They got a tough rink to play in, Ed Burns Arena. It's always full, always some some fans making some noise there. So they'll go there Friday night looking to pull the upset. I mean, they have certainly the goaltending to do it. Lily Francoeur, she's one of the better ones. So Marblehead just kind of has to play like they have nothing to lose and try to keep it close and do some damage. And then, the winner of that Arlington Marblehead game faces the winner of Peabody and Whitman-Hanson. That's our first tournament hockey game. That's on Wednesday at 5:15. Peabody earned the home game by beating HPNA in their regular season finale. So they feel good about the way they're playing. I mean, they've won 10 of their last 12, and both of the losses in that span were 1-0. Well, I guess the Fenwick game was 2-0 with an empty netter. So, that's the story for them. If they score goals, they win games. It seems to me that the longer that team goes in a game without scoring, they really let it crawl in their heads. They grip their sticks, and that's when they have trouble. So the key for Peabody is going to be getting on the board early, getting an on-time start. And if they can do that and, advance at home, then take their chances against either Arlington or Marblehead the following week. I think they would consider that a success. So I mean, this bracket runs through Austin Prep, and none of our teams are on the same side as Austin Prep. So, I mean, I'll take that as a win.
I got D2 girls up here. Not a lot of North Shore representation there in D2.
I don't think there's any.
Yeah,
Not a single squad.
No, nobody. There you go. So that's worth sharing.
It'd be fun for somebody, but not for us. All those single school Division I teams that didn't move up because they didn't want to face Austin Prep. I wonder if they'll opt up next year when the Cougars leave.
Well, we have a couple of minutes left. I hope I didn't cut you short, Nick. Matt, on the D1 girls, I can pop that back
I'm
up.
only short on the height department. Never cut short when it comes to talking.
Gentlemen, in our last couple of minutes, where do you want to, any final thoughts from you guys on anything else on the North Shore sports scene?
I just want to talk Manchester Essex boys. I didn't think
Thanks.
we got to Division 4 hoop. They got the number 12 seed there. They're going to host Whittier Tech on Friday, 12 versus 21. That looks like a really, really good game on paper. Whittier Tech's 13-7, Manchester's 16-4, but they have dropped 3 out of their last 4. They control their own destiny in the Cal Baker and dropped their last 2 games to split the title with Georgetown, but they still got the 12 seed. And then I got Rockport girls going to Quaboag on Tuesday. I would be lying if I said I knew that was a real place before Saturday. So I don't know what to. They're the 19th seed. Rockport's the 46th seed. I don't know. I don't know how good they are at all.
Quaboag, the immortal Jack Hughes did a number on Quaboag in the state title game in 2009.
Oh, that's right.
I'll
Oh my
never
God,
forget
what a
that
memory
place.
you have, Willie.
How could you forget Quabog? I mean, that's,
They beat him by 30-something points in the state final, right?
oh, it was absurd. It was, I guess that's evident of why this format's going to be better.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And just quickly, Bill, in Division 5, we do have Salem Academy competing, I believe, for the first time as a boys basketball program. It might be their second time. But nonetheless, they got a pretty decent draw. I think they earned, looks like 16 seeds, so they'll have a home game against Greenfield. And, they got 2 college prospects on that team in Dexter Brown and Jorbert Peralta. So they can certainly make some noise, especially in a bracket like that with Division 5. They played some tough out-of-conference games this year.
45 seconds here. Congrats to state champion St. John's Prep wrestling team. We're undefeated the entire season. Won the Division I state championship last weekend. Won the All-State championship for the first time in program history this past weekend. Had 2 All-State champions in Tyler Knox and Ross and Iwanicki. Undefeated through the whole year. Remarkable for them. St. John's Prep Swimming wins the Division I state title. 6th straight time, 15th in the last 16 years, which is crazy. We don't spend a lot of time dipping our toes in the swimming waters, so to speak, but that's a remarkable run for them. So congratulations to Jeff Fiore and his team. Marblehead girls under legendary coach Sue Gerton finished 2nd in Division II girls, so congrats to them. What else? Masconomet girls won the North Sectional Gymnastics title. They're going to be the favorites to win the state championships this weekend out at Algonquin. So good luck to them. And I also want to, if I was wearing one of my scaly caps, I would tip it to Pat Valou, who is retiring as head coach of the Danvers Falcons girls basketball team. He's coached Fenwick boys. He coached Danvers boys. He coached Danvers girls over 30 years. Congratulations, Pat. You're a good coach and an even better guy. So enjoy retirement. Willie, you have quickly some track news?
Well, the biggest news.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Biggest news in track was Heather Mclean, and it's a good 30 seconds. Everybody go online, go on my Twitter page, watch the video. It's only 30 seconds. She covers the last 200 meters of the 1500 in exactly 30 seconds to win her first ever national championship. And that's pretty cool. That's not everybody wins a national title. I hope the Worlds happens. It's supposed to be in Serbia next month. And with everything going on over there, it could be canceled, but if it goes on, she'll be there at the World Championships, and that's an amazing feat. Being an Olympian is pretty cool, but being a national champion, that's right up there too.